Hello, everybody, and welcome to this conversation with the Ballard Institute student workers here. And here comes everyone. Look at
There we
all
go.
wonderful, beautiful faces here on your computer or phone screen, depending on how you're watching. I'm Justin Chapman. I am one of the graduate assistants here at the Ballard Institute. I am normally behind the scenes, so that's why you probably haven't heard of me or seen me, but now you have. I am a third-year arts, leadership, and cultural management student here at UConn, and I've been working with the Ballard Institute since August of last year. And I'll let the others introduce themselves.
That was lovely, Justin. Thank you for starting us off. It is good to see your face, and I think it's important that people know what's happening behind the scenes and how many people are actually involved in making BIMP things happen. I'm Felicia Cooper. I'm the graduate assistant from the Puppetry Arts program at the Ballard Institute. Having a great time. I'm so excited for where we're going with this donation situation, and I'm going to pass it to Elise Vaness.
Hi, everyone. You might have seen me before. I do the workshops and stuff, among other things. I'm an undergraduate here, but really we want to focus today on the people you don't get to see. So I'll pass it to Cecile.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cecile. I am a museum assistant at the Ballard. I've been working there for about a year and a half now. Unfortunately, time was cut short a little bit in person, and now we're on COVID, so you might not see me as much. But I'm a human development and family sciences major here at UConn. I'm a junior, and I'm also a psychology minor as well. And Leanne?
Hi, I'm Leanne. I'm also a museum assistant, and I'm a senior this year, so not going to be here too much longer, which is sad because I love BIMP. But yeah, I'm a speech, language, and hearing sciences and psychology double major, which is a mouthful. But yeah, so how about Ashley?
Hey everyone, I'm Ashley. I am the social media intern for BIMP, and this is my first semester working here, and it's been amazing so far. I'm also a senior here at UConn, majoring in English with a minor in women, gender, and sexuality studies.
Cool.
Great. Thank you all for introducing yourselves so well. So specifically talking to Cecile, Ashley, and Leanne, how did you learn about the Ballard Institute and Museum of Puppetry and by adjacency, the UConn Puppet Arts program?
I'll go first if you want. So my freshman year, I was moving into my dorm room. I had gone random selection, as most people do, and my roommate happened to be a puppetry major. So it was a very interesting introduction because until that point, I had absolutely no clue that puppetry was a major. And it was really, really cool to be introduced through my roommate to the whole program in BIMP. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, for me as well, I was also a second semester freshman when I found out about the Puppetry Arts program and the BIMP. I had a room, well, she's my roommate now, but I at the time was also my roommate, and she told me she worked at the Benton, and that's how I found out about the Ballard as well, because I was looking for a job, to make money as a freshman, of course. So before I applied, like I didn't know about the Ballard at all. I thought the Ballard was a movie theater, like a lot of other people on campus think when they walk through Store Center.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when I went in for the interview, like that was the first time I had ever like been in the BIMP or anything. But since working here, like I've obviously learned a lot about puppetry arts as a major at UConn, and yeah.
Wow, I had no idea that so many people thought it was a movie theater.
I didn't either.
That's really
Me
interesting.
neither.
Ashley, how about you?
So my experience is a little bit different because I just recently found out about BIMP. So my internship director here at the English department recommended it to me because I'm actually interested in the field of publishing. And she recommended this to me as more of a publicity side of publishing to get experience in that realm, which I thought would be super interesting, along with allowing me to be a bit more creative on social media, which is always fun. But yeah, I found out this semester, so I've enjoyed it so far, and it's an amazing place to be.
Wow. Well, thank you for that. I also didn't know about the Puppet Arts program or the Ballard Institute until I came. Well, when I interviewed for the Arts Leadership and Cultural Management program, it was mentioned to me as like this really exciting, cool feature of UConn, which it absolutely is, and it's what I bragged the most about to people when they're like, "Why did you go to UConn?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It was nice, and they have puppetry, and um, it's been really interesting to learn more about. I actually, the first time, first event I went to that was Ballard Institute was a puppet slam in the fall, my first year, and they really sucked me in. And here I am now, looking forward to Friday's puppet slam at 8 o'clock that viewers here can see on Facebook for free.
Mhm.
And that's one of the exciting programs that the Ballard Institute does. If you are watching us, you may not be aware, but we're counting down the end of UConn Gives, which is a very exciting 36-hour fundraising extravaganza.
Woo!
We're very thankful to report that we have beaten our goals of both our financial goals and our individual donor goals. So thank you all for giving your support to the Ballard Institute. But we've got 22 minutes, and there are some challenges that we're stretching for. Right now, we're second in the School of Fine Arts, and there is a challenge grant that the Dean's Advisory Committee has put out. The number one spot gets $2,500 in addition to what they've already raised individually. Right now, it looks like the marching band may be marching right through and taking that, but we're in second, and but we want to maintain our spot in second place there so we can get $1,250, which still is a very impactful amount.
It's not nothing.
Yes, it's
Definitely not.
and that's in addition to the $4,238 we've raised currently. So that would take us to a total of $5,400, nearly $5,500 from this 36 hours. That's amazing. That is a lot of money to raise in 36 hours time. So once again, thank you all who have already given. Maybe share this event here with some of your friends and encourage them to give. Just $1 that's the minimum donation, and that helps us get we get more donors when we get more donors, right? That that makes sense, but that keeps us in the spot of second place for that 1,250
within 20 minutes, because it ends in 20 minutes.
Yes, it ends
right?
20
Yeah.
minutes. The count stops.
Clock's ticking.
Yeah, we're grateful for any support that comes after, but it will not help us get those grants. And that's our focus right now. But to go back to our conversation here, what is, out of everyone here, including Elise and Felicia, what is the favorite thing that you've learned or worked on since you've been working at the Ballard Institute? I got to say that my favorite thing, while you're all ruminating on that, my favorite thing has been, I've really been focused on fundraising this year. That's been the major portion of my assistantship. And so I've learned a lot about doing that, but also to do fundraising, you have to really learn about the Ballard Institute. So I'm going to say it's it might be a cop-out answer, but I'm going to say learning about the Ballard Institute has been the favorite thing that I have learned since working at the Ballard Institute.
Nice.
It's a really special place with a ton of community support, and that community has only grown during this time when we're all online. I would say my favorite thing, like immediately, as soon as you said, what's your favorite thing that you've done at BIMP? It was actually something before I was the graduate assistant, which was the African American Performing Objects Festival, Living Objects Festival that we did my first year at UConn. And it just showed me like the impact that BIMP can have, because since then we've seen a huge outpouring of support for exactly that kind of puppetry. And I'm not saying that BIMP was the only part of that, but I think creating a hub and a platform for it gave a lot of artists, African-American puppeteers, a place to come together. And I think that was really special and meant a lot to me, and just showed me how much BIMP can do.
Thank you for that, Felicia. That's a good point. There's, viewers here can go online. There's still an online collection of essays, images of different puppets, and information about the puppeteers that you can find online through the Ballard Institute website.
I remember that festival. I worked on it my first semester in the program as well, and I was like, oh my, I need to stay here. That was super cool. So I echo that, Felicia. One of my favorite things about working with the Ballard is just how reaffirming it is to be in this major. So like sometimes I'll be like, this was a risk, I don't come from like a family of artists at all. So I'm kind of like the first one going down this route. And I'm like, did I make a mistake? Like, that's kind of scary. And then like we do an event, like a workshop, and somebody is like, this made my whole day. And like, I see kids smiling and people just saying, like, I don't know, like telling me some like really obscure puppet story. And I just see how much puppets like mean to people through this job. And then it's reaffirming, and it makes me appreciate my life and my major. So that's my favorite thing about the Ballard.
I think for me, similar to Justin, but again, as I said earlier, like I really had no base knowledge of puppetry, of the puppet arts program at UConn, the Ballard, anything. And I kind of, like stayed within my lanes here at UConn, especially as a freshman. I kind of just stuck to what I knew. So having this job and this opportunity really like made me branch out and realize that there's so many other things at UConn that you might not know about at all. I mean, so many students come to downtown stores every day, and the Ballard is central to stores. Like it's right by the green. It's pretty much in the heart of Store Center, and still people don't know about it sometimes. And I think that it kind of just goes to show like to like open your eyes to like what's around you and to be aware of that, and to, like broaden your horizons. And I think for me, that's been the most important part, and the most exciting part is like learning something new and having like a new hobby and just meeting new people. And yeah.
I think for me, my favorite thing about working at the Ballard, and since being at the Ballard, is just like meeting so many awesome people. There are people, visitors, everyone who works there. I mean, just the nicest people you will ever meet. And it's really been awesome to just like enjoy going to work every day, because it's just something to look forward to, because it's just so positive. And I've just learned, just so much information about puppetry in general, just as someone who, again, didn't really know much about it. It's just been very, very much a learning experience, which I really liked a lot. So that's it for me.
Yeah, I definitely agree that the Ballard has such an amazing community. I think another thing I learned about puppetry is just how interdisciplinary it was, which I was very shocked to hear about when I first saw the forum schedule for this semester. I was amazed just to see the different connections of puppetry with other disciplines like therapy and game design. It really shows how immersive the field is, which I thought was super interesting.
That's an excellent point there, Ashley. I think UConn in general does a good job of promoting those interdisciplinary aspects. You know, the School of Fine Arts and the School of Engineering have some new partnership that I remember hearing about sometime within the last year, which is really cool. That's something that I will say to, you know, not have that cop-out answer, but in the amount of engineering that goes into building puppets and things of that sort, it's really something I think about a lot, especially when you think about the cultural idea of what puppetry is uh, that it's more for kids. I mean, I did a workshop, one of Felicia's workshops, actually the very first online workshop we had last year, paper puppets. I did that with my sister. I made this little guy here. That this is, but you know, making this made me think, wow, there's so many tactile skills that you develop, and puppetry combines those kinds of engineering skills with creativity, which anytime that creativity is combined with something, it just makes me feel good. So I hope it makes our Ballard Institute supporters feel good. And I hope that if you haven't already, you will follow the link that I'm sure is in the comments section or attached to this post somehow. Click on that link if you haven't already and donate $1. That's it. That's all I'm asking for, $1. Of course, you may give more if you are able. I would encourage that, but we're wanting to get more individual donors. We've been lucky enough to meet our goals, but we'd like to meet a challenge grant and get and keep our place in second place for the School of Fine Arts and get $1,250 extra. So you've got 13 minutes here. That's some quick basic math that I know how to do. 13 minutes to follow that link and give $1. 12 minutes now by my clock. So hurry and do that. So for those of you that have been in the museum, and maybe those of you that haven't since the COVID has happened, or as my grandmother calls it, the COVID, maybe you can talk about the online things that you like, but do you have a favorite exhibit or puppet from the time that you've worked in the museum that really spoke to you? You guys have some great thinking faces, I must say. A lot of these, and might as well vogue while you're there.
I can start this one off. So I've actually never been to the museum since I started this semester. So all of my work has been remote, but nonetheless, I still have some favorites. So I actually have two favorite exhibits. So one would be the Shakespeare and Puppetry exhibit. I found it really interesting, especially as an English major, just seeing how Shakespeare is represented through puppetry with puppets as the actors. I found really cool. And then also, as Felicia and Elise kind of echoed, I actually really enjoyed the Living Objects exhibit as well, just because it centers African American puppeteers and object performance, and visibility is obviously super important.
I have two favorites as well. If Ashley, if you'll let me take your move. So my two favorites of the moment are, we had a really wonderful opportunity to showcase Chinese shadow puppetry, curated by Dr. Annie Rollins. And she gave this like wonderful lecture, and I think it showed us how puppetry can be displayed not only as a anthropological artifact, but also as just a beautiful visual art form. And I think that was really special, and people got to see it. Like, we had tons of visitors, and it was so good to see people playing with those puppets and also witnessing them, like I said, as art objects. And then my other favorite exhibit is the one right behind me, our World of Puppetry exhibit, because every time that I've given a tour, people are surprised by the depth and breadth of what puppetry can do. And it's just really fun to introduce people to that there can be rod puppets and string puppets and shadow puppets and what materials, and it makes people super curious, and I really love it. That's why it's my background. Who's next?
I'll go. I, similar to you, Felicia, absolutely loved the shadow puppets. That was actually the first one, and the first one that I got to experience as a student worker, which was really cool. It was really fun to set up too, putting all the lights on, and it was, I don't know, it was really cool. And then as far as like a single favorite puppet, I would say, well, I really liked the Rumpelstiltskin puppet from our Paul Vincent Davis exhibit. He was adorable. I absolutely loved that one. But from the world of puppetry, I really like the Queen of Night, or the Queen of the Night. Such a cool puppet. Just so, I don't know. Every time I would just sit at the front desk, it would just like, it would draw my eye. I don't know what it was, but that one
Frank
is
Ballard
definitely-
original.
It's one of my favorite ones. So, but yeah, the Shadow Puppet, Your Immaterial Remains exhibit was my favorite exhibit.
We have similar taste in puppets. Queen of the Night, I was gonna say, is like one of my tops. But I mean, it's really hard to pick a favorite, but I really loved the exhibit on Bartolo Roccobertin, the head of the puppet arts program. What was it called? It was like called It's All Pandemonium. Somebody might correct me.
It's always
It's always
pandemonium.
pandemonium. That's what it was. I was like, I'm a bad student for not knowing that, because it was just really cool, because this, you know, he's our advisor and our teacher, and it was really cool to see like parts of his life before he was a teacher and like when he was a performer. And I just I love looking at his puppets and seeing that.
I really, this is gonna sound kind of funny, but like I did some work, some social media work where we did kind of like guess the puppet. And so I got a lot of exposure to a lot of the puppets in the BIMP, but one of mine is the Bingo the Circus Dog from Paul Vincent Davis. I just think it's so cute, and like I really like that whole layout of the exhibit too, because in the museum it was just super colorful, super bright, super fun. And really eye-catching, and yeah.
Great. You all have some excellent choices there. So I'm glad that you have such variety yet such similarities. It's very touching. I suppose we could talk about how COVID has changed your experience with the Ballard Institute. I know, in Ashley's case, she doesn't really have a pre-COVID experience. So I would offer that to you if you have any more than just, yeah, everything's online now kind of things to say about that.
Yeah, so obviously it is all online, but I think that doesn't negate the fact that there's still a lot going on. Even just this week, we have a ton of events, so be sure to check them out. We've got the Puppet Slam, we've got our first paid event, Milo the Magnificent, which will be super exciting, along with a forum, and obviously UConn Gives. Don't forget to donate. So there's obviously lots going on and lots to do. So I run the Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So never a dull moment, regardless of not being in person. Although I do wish I could see all of you face to face.
I think as a museum assistant, one of the very, I guess, obvious answers is that we don't go in as much in person, and have our regular shifts that we would have. So we've been doing a lot of social media work, or we've been doing YouTube captioning videos for the workshops that Felicia and Elise do as well. And while that's not what we used to do of like interacting with people who come into the museum or each other as well in the workplace, like it is still a really important thing that we're doing, because I think one of the positives, I guess you could say, of COVID is that we're doing something like this where people can tune in wherever they are, or for the workshop videos, especially if you're not able to watch them live, they're on YouTube as well. And so for captioning those, it makes them even more accessible for people as well. So I think that in our day-to-day operations, we're not in person as much anymore, but there have been some cool changes to the BIMP as well, where with online forums and stuff like that, where we're able to reach maybe some people from farther locations that we might not have been able to earlier as well. So those are some cool things too.
Great. Thank you for that. I do want to take the time now to, we do have 4 minutes by my clock left in UConn Gives. So not much time. We've gotten a couple more donations while we've been talking here today. I hope that if you're watching this and you haven't given, tried to give you some very compelling reasons to go give $1 and help us maintain our second place so we can finish strong. In the School of Fine Arts, that is second place. We're seventh. Last I looked, seventh in all of UConn. That's crazy. Those gardeners are very high up there, but we're within range. I'd say that's pretty good for the little Ballard Institute.
The puppet museum that could.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I guess the final thing, while people are going to open a new tab and click the link that's in the chat and go give $1, my final question here would be, what is the most can't miss thing about visiting the Ballard Institute and Museum of Puppetry in person? So as things are starting to, people are getting vaccinated, we're opening up again, being in person, what is a number one thing that you would recommend to people? Mine would be to get a hold of either, whether it's, watching a forum or finding him in person, get a hold of Dr. John Bell, the Ballard Institute director, because that man is probably the most interesting person I have met at UConn. So I would recommend just having some sort of interaction with him, but you all might have something else.
Along those same lines, I would say if you're in the Ballard Institute and you see either a museum worker, a museum assistant, just ask them questions, because I think something that unites all of us is a curiosity and a passion and a love for puppetry and all it can do. And so I think if you're in the museum, you might as well ask and, get to tap into a little bit of that. Because there's always something going on you can be a part of.
I also want to throw in there, we have a really cool gift shop area. Like so many cool puppets and awesome like textbooks and peepers, and just go check it out. It's in Barnes and Noble. That's always like, I like looking at that when I'm doing a shift.
Anyone else? Those are all the can't miss things at the Ballard Institute.
I guess just, it doesn't matter what exhibit it is, but just going to see one in person is a different experience than being able to see one online, which we have a good number of exhibits online, so be sure to check those out. But it's just so different to be able to walk through and experience it in person. And so I would just say, just don't miss the opportunity to go in person at some point and look at the cool exhibits that we currently will be having soon, hopefully. Just because it's neat.
Yeah.
Wonderful. We're by my clock, we've got 1 minute. I don't know if anybody else has a different clock, but we've got 1 minute left. Make that final dash, click the link, throw in your credit card information, and we've got 135 donors,
Awesome.
$4,318 raised. Thank you guys so much, and all of you girls that have donated, and all of you people who don't identify with anything or
Right.
choose not to be binary. Thank you for giving money. 2, 1, oh gosh.
7 o'clock.
Happy UConn Give!
Woo!
Ooh, go Huskies, go Huskies!
Yay!
Yes.
I think we're in second place. We did it.
We did second place. Look at us go.
It's not nothing. It's not nothing.
The
It's not.
puppet museum that could, rightfully.
Awesome. Thanks
right.
everyone for joining us tonight.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you.
all.